Our next artist that is going to present is none other than the very talented and very handsome Mr. Jeremy Fairman. Yes. Give it up for Jeremy. Make some noise like we're in a real live club. That's the protocol. So whenever I announce someone, just take yourselves off mute. Don't wait for me to prompt you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is selections from a piece I wrote in school called The Kid, and this was detailing a time where I was confronted with a lot of health issues right off the bat. I had a cough, I lost a lot of weight, they didn't know if it was cancer, it was diabetes, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it kind of hit me all at once, and it kind of forced me to kind of grow up, you know, but the title is The Kid, so I don't really go growing up willingly. So that this is kind of like me kind of detailing my adventure going into adulthood, kicking and screaming, kind of. So it's just, it's a little longer. It's, I was very self-conscious about the length because I didn't want to really take away from anybody. It's time, so, all right, okay, you ready? The receptionist offers me free cookies and soda. You know you're in bad shape when the doctors give you something for free. I don't take anything and I sit down, ready to make a break for it if I have to. It's not like any of these freaks could stop me. I'm 6'4", 245 pounds, well, now 208 pounds. I watch the room suspiciously. I see a young man, bald from chemo, disappear into an examination room. An elegant old couple wearing matching patterned shirts is sitting together. Then I see the woman has a giant patch of hair like it was carved out like a jack-o'-lantern for surgery. An elderly, weather-beaten looking black couple leave through an examination room door, clinging onto each other as if they have yet to weather another storm in their lives. A woman in a wheelchair wearing an eye patch shakes with tremors as she's being helped into the restroom by her friend. The friend has trouble navigating the wheelchair and keeps getting it caught against the side of the door. I don't help. I can't move. I'm petrified. I'm the guy in the Phantom of the Opera who sees Lon Chaney unmasked for the first time. My hair stands on end. I don't belong here. I don't want to belong here. All of my specialists are around East 34th Street. I take the bus and notice that the tourists file out around 5th Avenue. Then it's just the old and the broken. And me. I call it Sick City. There's so many sick people, I play a game and try to spot as many of them as I can. I stop being afraid of them, kind of. In my mind, I give an award to the ones who are the worst off. In the street, I see a giant woman with her arm in a giant brace. It sticks out in the street waiting to clothesline someone who isn't paying attention. I see a man bent over like a question mark, walking with a cane in each hand. The worst one was a 13-year-old girl in a wheelchair with two big smiley faces for tires. The little girl breaks my heart. She gets the prize. All I have is a cough. I call my mother and tell her I just came back from Sick City. She laughs at that. I laugh too. My mother's old, but she's young at heart. She has a young mind. She likes Bones, the TV show. She's seen every episode. I get nervous when she watches TV with the volume all the way up and how she repeats herself sometimes. Last year, she tripped on the sidewalk and broke her knee. She called me at work and said, "Hi, Jeremy, it's your mother. I fell and broke my knee and they're going to operate." I was so angry that I had to walk around the block just to calm down. I left work and rushed to St. Vincent's. I stood at the front of her gurney, holding back my tears. I was so overcome that she had to comfort me. "Everything's going to be all right," she assured me from the stretcher. If I lost my mother, I don't know what I'd do. My father and I sit in the dressing room waiting to go. My father's a comedian. He mentions the varicose veins in my legs. He points out I have white in my beard. He wants to take a picture of me. I try to strike a tough pose as if this stuff isn't getting to me. I see the picture and I look like a mouse caught in a trap, scared to death and embarrassed for getting caught in the trap in the first place. My time is up and a nurse escorts me to the operating room. She's Asian and very pretty. She jokes about how tall I am. She looks like she's 13. My legs buckle and I stumble as we walk the last mile. She tries to comfort me like a mother and pats me on the back telling me it's going to be all right. I feel like running away if I could. I get to the door and the noise in the OR is deafening. It looks like a mad scientist's laboratory. I notice two other nurses right out of nursery school and I walk in, holding the back of my gown closed so my ass doesn't show. I scrunch onto the operating table. The room is freezing. They put heated blankets on me and circulation boots to knead my legs so I won't get blood clots. The overhead lights are blinding. They're right in my eyes. The nurses hook up my IV and the anesthesiologist gets the drugs going. I have to say something, to have something on record, just in case. I turn to the anesthesiologist and I tell him, do you know that getting operated on sucks? He smiles back and says, that's not the first time I heard it. Great. My last words on earth and somebody else already said it. I turn back and look at the bright lights overhead. I think about all the stuff I haven't written yet. I've been writing a story about a basketball player named Billy the Kid who follows in his father's footsteps and is a general disappointment to his parents. Like me. I look back at the lights and I wake up still in the OR. They have me on a gurney. My left leg is bent. The orderlies wheel me out as the nurses wave, "Goodbye, Jeremy." I want to tell them to go fuck themselves and let me sleep, but I forgot how to move my mouth. I feel weightless, like I'm flying. I'm wheeled into recovery and my father's there, relieved, waiting to take me home. I drift in and out of consciousness as the anesthesia wears off. I notice my father peering in through the curtains, checking in on me. I wonder if this is what he had to do when I was born. I was 2.5 months premature and weighed 2 pounds 12 ounces. The doctors gave me a 50% chance of living. I wonder if my father paced like that back then. Did he even care back then? I'm bedridden. I feel like I swallow glass. I watch Judgment in Nuremberg on TV with my father. Spencer Tracy is one of his favorite actors. It's his last night in New York. I remember the last time I saw my grandfather, my father's father. I was 17, and my father and I went to Florida to visit him. My father, my grandfather, and I sat at a table on the beach. My grandfather was old. He lost his wife, Ruth, 2 years earlier. My father and I arm wrestled in front of him. It was close for a moment, but then my dad relaxed his grip and let me win. Over and over, he kept letting me win, while my grandfather watched the two of us proudly. We took my grandfather home, and at the door, my grandfather grabbed me in a giant bear hug. He hugged me so hard that he lifted me off the sidewalk. I was almost 1.5 feet taller than him. He hugged me goodbye, and I knew that I was never going to see him alive again. I watch my father now, and he's old too. Older now than his father was then. I watch him watching Spencer Tracy, and I get that feeling that I'm never going to see him again. And I start crying, apologizing for being sick like this. He comforts me and tells me that it's going to be all right. It's not cancer, it's just stupid sarcoidosis and diabetes like they thought. I take it as a wake-up call. Everybody tells me it's a wake-up call. I cut out sugar and soda cold turkey. Not a drop or a bite. I used to have a giant bag of Hershey's Kisses on my desk, with the tinfoil wrappers scattered all over the place. Now, the only thing I have on my desk are my meds. They're my new candy. Now I have to look at the label of ingredients. Gluten-free, dietary fiber, no enriched flour or high fructose corn syrup. It's so hard to read the labels, I need my progressives to see them. No more bright maroon cans of Dr. Pepper, no shiny red cans of Coke. I could drink 6 liters of soda a day. I could eat a whole Entman's cake by myself. But I can't be a kid anymore. Now all I eat is nutshells and fig leaves. Every time I get an urge to binge, I look at my scar on my neck. It's long and narrow. Raised up, it looks like raw meat. It's ugly. I don't like it. I pretend it's not there. I'm in the staging area. It looks like a MASH unit. I'm in a little space with a curtain. They tell me to take my shirt off, but I can leave my pants on. It can't be that bad if I get to leave my pants on. The nurse comes in and asks me a series of questions. Do I have any allergies to anesthesia? Did I eat or drink after midnight? No, no, and no. She moves on to the patient in the next tent. I listen in. The patient is a woman. The nurse asks her if she has any allergies to anesthesia. She says yes, and then lists them. The nurse asks her if she's pregnant. No, I'm not sexually active. Me neither. I wonder what she looks like. She sounds young and beautiful. She sounds like she's been through this before. She sounds tired of doctors and procedures and of being sick. Me too. I wonder if it's possible to meet your soulmate sight unseen, laying in your own deathbed. The nurse asks my love about her symptoms, and she tells the nurse that she's been constipated for 3 weeks. My fantasy shatters. I am disgusted. The wedding's off. Now I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm fucking fuming. Here I lay on yet another gurney, in another gown, with another IV in my arm, alone. The anesthesiologist comes in explaining that he doesn't know my case, but he'll read it in the OR. He shakes hands with me and leaves. I hear him say the same thing to all the other patients down the line. I'll have to look at it in the OR. I'll have to look at it in the OR. I think he's a phony. You hear me? You're a fucking phony. I don't think that you want to know my case. I don't think that you could handle my case. I don't think that you could handle me. I think that you think you're better than me because I'm old and sick and you're not. I want to smack you with my case. I lay on my gurney and I become a revolutionary in my mind. I think of pictures of Tommy Smith and John Carlos's black power fists and Huey Newton holding guns. I become an outlaw. I am the man in black. I'm Billy the Kid. I'm bad. I'm so bad that I need my own theme song. I scan my mind for songs. Biggie and Method Man pop into my head. Fuck the world, don't ask me for shit. Everything you get, you gotta work hard for it. I don't remember the rest of the words, but that doesn't matter. I focus on the fuck the world. I repeat it over and over again like a mantra. Fuck the world. Fuck the world. Fuck the world. Now it's time. The anesthesiologist comes in and wheels me to the OR, but he can't steer the gurney straight with one hand and it veers into the wall. I did that with my mind. He calls an orderly to help him. The two of them wheel me into the OR. I see Derek's doctor there. He's not dressed in scrubs. He's dressed in Dockers. What the fuck kind of operation is this? The male nurse takes my vitals. Derek's doctor tells him that my numbers are bad because of the sarcoidosis. Goddamn sarcoidosis. The male nurse tells me to get on my side. They put a mouth guard around my face with a hole in it for the camera to go down my throat. Now I'm afraid again. I try to remember my theme song, but I can't. I start to panic. I need my song, man. The OR has the radio on. I listen for the song, anything I could use. I hear that stupid song that was popular a few years ago. You know the one. It had that chubby girl in a bee suit dancing through the whole video. The leader died young, before his time. He was 28. He was just a kid. All I make out are the lyrics. It's not sane. It's not sane. And I wake up in recovery on my side. Through the curtains, I see Derek's doctor making his rounds. He sees me and gives me 2 thumbs up. I want to give him my middle finger, but I can't figure out which one it is. He tells me everything's fine, except I have a hiatal hernia and gastritis. I wonder why every time I go to the doctor they find something wrong with me. I think they're all full of shit. My leg gives out. I'm walking down the street and it just goes. They send me to a neurologist and he tells me to strip down to my underwear. I'm not embarrassed. By now I take my clothes off faster than a double-booked hooker. I hop up on the table and he puts this conducting gel on my legs and sticks a needle in them. I don't feel the needle. I just hear the sound it makes when it goes into my wet flesh. Then he runs a current through the needle. The muscles in my leg pulsate and contract on their own. It hurts like hell. He caps it off by sticking the needle in my back. He tells me I have neuropathy in my legs. The motor functions work, but the nerves are damaged, probably from the diabetes. He tells me to put back on my clothes. I'm disheveled. I am a disheveled mess. I feel like the fucking Frankenstein monster. I obediently follow him into the elevator and we go upstairs to physical therapy. There, I see the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. She's the chief physical therapist. She's so beautiful that I can't even look her in the eye. She looks like Charlize Theron from South Africa. I look like something out of the African bush. The neurologist walks over to her. I can make out the usual sarcoidosis and diabetes and now neuropathy. Every so often she looks me up and down, assessing the disaster I am. As the neurologist talks, every time our eyes meet, I look away. I notice her name is Ivana from her name tag. All of a sudden the neurologist walks over to me and pulls down my shirt, showing her my scar, startling me. I'm ashamed. I feel defective in front of her. I make the appointment and leave. The holes in my legs are irritating me. I hobble to the bus and get on. I don't look for any old or broken people on the bus today. Why should I? I'm one of them.
Oh my God, Jeremy, that was unbelievably epic. Can you guys unmute, please? Wow. Yes, man. Yes, 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 yes. Wow. You are such a beast in all the best ways. Like, you're so amazing.